Okay, finally we are good to go. Very good morning to all of you. I hope you are aware that we are going to start with EIS SM subject, and that is paper number 7. Alright. I hope you know the full form of the subject at least. EIS. Okay, just the full form. For the timing, I believe you only know the full form. And what is the marks distribution for EIS and SM? 60-40. When is the attempt due? When is your attempt due? November. All right. So still some of you are of the view that it is the ratio is 60-40, but let me clarify that it is 50-50. All right. And if you see the, I guess you have only got the EIS book. All right. Okay. If you see the content, EIS content is relatively on the higher side, and SM it is going to be, I think, 1/3 of this book. Okay, but the marks distribution is 50-50. At the same time, let me tell you that even if the content is more in EIS, it is more scoring as compared to SM. SM is very general, totally based on management. So I think for the next 6.5 days will be, you'll have to bear me for like 7 hours a day, 7 or 8 hours a day. And for next 6.5 days we'll be completing the EIS portion first, and then I think 2.5 days is sufficient for the strategic management part. Okay, fine. Now before I actually start, again let us come back to the name of the subject, that is EIS, Enterprise Information System. Alright, I want to know from you guys that what do you know about this particular subject? Nothing? Okay, what do you think that this particular, the name signifies, rather I can ask, at least I can ask that. Enterprise Information Systems. I want answers from you. Yes. Or else the classes are going to be very boring. This is theoretical paper, so I need your full participation. Yes, please tell me.
How an organization is integrated in a virtual way, like through computers and through...
How the organization is integrated through computers, okay.
So in this economic scenario, we have to, auditors are struggling a little bit to be very common with the computers and internet and things.
Okay.
So I think the institute has taught and introduced this subject to make them acknowledge about the computers.
All right. He says that in future, because you all are hopefully going to be chartered accountants, and okay, and as per him, chartered accountants are not well versed with the computers, and to audit basically you need systems. So that is why this subject has been incorporated in your syllabus. To some extent you are correct. What can be the other reasons? You all are going to be CA, let me put it in this way. But our institute wants us to know about computers. Is this what you think is there in the subject? Acha, are you guys done with your audit? Basics you know in audit. Okay, then it is going to be easy for me. Fine. See, before I tell you why this subject has been incorporated, let us understand the terms individually. Let us understand the 3 words, and then I will tell you why this particular subject is there in your syllabus. Many of the students, they think that we are going to be chartered accountants. Why this particular subject, which relates to computers, which is actually for engineers, has been basically incorporated in our syllabus? But this is not the case. Before I actually start with any subject, or rather any chapter, I always tell the students that you should understand that why this particular subject or the chapter is there in your syllabus. Institute, they have not put this subject randomly just to torture the CA students. There is a very valid and logical reason behind this subject. Okay, so but before I tell you that, let us first understand the 3 words here: enterprise, information and system. Okay, all right. First I'll tell you what an information word means. We are just going with the basics. You don't have to open your books now. We just understand the concept. Okay. Can anyone tell me what information means?
Process
Data. Okay.
process data is
Processed data. All right. Any other points? Just two answers. Nobody knows what information means. Okay. Some of you told processed data. Someone told me data. Achha, what is data? Yeah. Who told data and processed data? Yes. What is data?
Raw facts about
Raw facts. Okay. About. Yes. Anyone, please. Data at the back. Was computer subject there in your school? This is a basic thing I'm asking. What is data? You hear this word almost every day. What is data? Nobody is answering. Yes, okay. I'll put it simply like this. There's something called data. This is my definition. There's something called data, and data using some kind of system. What is system? I'll tell you. Using some kind of system, what we do, the data is converted into information. So basically, the ones who are saying that information is data, you're absolutely wrong. Okay, data basically are the raw facts, figures, numbers, random numbers, which I tell you, which is going to be of no use to you until you apply some kind of brains and do some kind of analysis to basically derive information from it. Information is your finished product and data is basically your raw material. So we input data into the systems, the system processes it and provides us with some kind of information which basically helps us in decision making. Alright, so if I tell you, let's say I tell you the average weather of each day of Chennai for last 50 years. I give you the sheet. 50 years into 365 days a year. I give you the average weather of every day, and the sheet is going to be huge. So if I give you that and you keep on scrolling, shuffling through the pages, probably you will not be able to analyze anything, whether there is an increase in the weather trend, probably whether there is a decrease in the temperature. So what we have to do, this data is going to be of no use to you unless you use some kind of system. The brain can also be a system. Your brain can also be the system. You do some kind of analysis and after that you derive an information which is actually going to assist you in decision making. Alright, so information is processed data which ultimately helps managers in an organization to take decisions. Alright, so in an organization we need systems so that the data can be converted into information. Okay, yeah.
Can we say that the book of accounts is data and financial statement is
Absolutely. The books of accounts, the journals, the ledgers, as an investor probably you are not going to make decisions on the basis of books of accounts. Rather, the books of accounts will not be available to you. It is the ultimate report. The ultimate report is financial statements, the PL, the balance sheet, the cash flows. These are the documents which are ultimately going to help you as an investor to decide whether you want to invest in a company or not. So information is basically our final product on the basis of which the managers, the investors, everyone makes or takes decision. Okay, so coming back to my example of the temperature, the weather. Now, if I use some kind of systems and system does some analysis and gives me an output that in Chennai over the last 50 years temperature has been increasing, it is on an increasing trend and it has increased by, let's say, 3 degrees. Okay, so if this kind of information is given to you, this is actually going to help you in taking some decisions. Alright, okay, the temperature is on an increasing trend, we need to be cautious, the world is for global warming and all. So basically you'll be able to take some decisions. All right. If I tell you that if I give you, let's say, the market price, the stock market price of, let's say, a particular stock of last 10 years, each day, 5 days trading is done in a week, each day I give it to you, you will not be able to do anything with that data. It is purely data, it is purely number for you. But again, if you use your brains or maybe a computer and do some kind of analysis, you will come out with an information that yes, this stock price, over the last 10 years, it has almost doubled or maybe tripled. So I think this is also a good time to invest. So basically you are going to, this information is going to help you in decision making. Okay. So now the subject's name is Enterprise Information System. The word is, along with the word information, we have another word, system. Okay. Now what is system? I have just drawn here something. What is system? I told you also your brain can also be a system. So if I ask you for a general definition of system, what do you think system is? Something that helps convert data into information. Okay. Apart from the world of data and information, what can be a system?
An organized way.
Organized way of doing something. Okay. And okay, if I go by the generic meaning of system, can I say system is anything which takes in input? System is anything which takes in input, produces output as per our objectives. So basically I can say this fan is also a system. Fan has got multiple components. They work together to accomplish an objective. What is the objective? Why do we need the fan? What is the objective? Cooling. For cooling, so that we feel comfortable, right? This is the objective. Take anything in this class, it is also a system. This AC is a system. Is it a collection of components? Do you think this particular unit has got many components? And do you think to accomplish the objective of cooling the class, the components inside the AC, they work collectively? Are you getting the point? So what is a system? System is collection of objects or things basically that work collectively. They work together to accomplish some common goal or objective. So can I say that our human body is a system? Human body, collection of various organs, they work collectively to accomplish some common goal or objective so that we can live. Alright. So systems definition doesn't have to be necessarily connected with computers. System can be anything. I told you the basic definition. What is system? System is collection of elements or components, alright, that work together to accomplish some common goal or objective. Even if we talk about human body, and if I further bifurcate it, or maybe if I further factorize it, there is circulatory system. Different circulatory system is there. You must have heard about it, no, in science. Alright, nervous system is separate. We have many systems in our body also. Alright, so here any system which takes in data and gives output, please try and understand, any system now which takes in data and produces information as output is information system. So basically what is information system now? Any system which takes in data and produces information is information system. That's it. This is how simple the definition is. Alright, so do you guys understand now what data means? Data is basically what? Raw facts and figures. Is it data that assists you in taking decisions or information? Information. Okay. So if let's say an organization uses computers, what do you expect from the computer? Data or information? Information. So by using the various input mechanisms, you are going to input the data. The system is going to process it and provide you with the information as output. Okay. All right. So these three words, let us understand these three words further in detail. I am going to take you straight away to chapter 3a. These are the basics. Okay. After that, I'll tell you why we need EIS, how many chapters are there, how do we have to study. We'll come to this. Okay. So let's understand the three definitions which we have just understood. Okay. Data. What is data? Let's understand. Data consists of Raw facts, see the word raw facts, that are recorded, classified and stored but not organized to convey any specific meaning. So I gave you the example, the 50 years weather, that is not going to convey to you any meaning. You will not be able to decide anything on the basis of those raw data. Okay, so data is the raw material in the production of, you understand this? Alright, okay. Now what is information? Information is the data that have been put into a meaningful and useful context. That means processed data which is going to be meaningful for you. Okay, and just write one line here. Information assists in decision making. Just write this. Information assists or helps in decision making. Fine. So it is not the data which helps you in decision making, it is the process data, that means information which ultimately helps you in decision making. Fine. Okay. And it is written very clearly that analysis of data is done to obtain. Okay. So, and how do we analyze it? By using some system, right? So I told you, you can analyze if you are using your brain is also a system. So that is why I drew this. Data is inputted into a system basically, and information is basically your output. Fine. Okay. Now let us come to the third definition, system. See, I am just talking about system, not the information system. We are just referring to system first. Alright. So system is defined as multiple parts or components working together for a, did I just tell you this? Like in AC, there will be multiple components or parts which are going to work together to accomplish one common goal or objective. So all the systems, they work to, the parts in a system, they work collectively ultimately for one common goal or objective. Fine. Okay. So you can just write some examples of the system here. That human body examples, just write few examples. Human body is a system. Do you think the school is also a system? You have to get admission in the lower classes first, you give the exam, you pass, then you promoted to the higher classes. So there is a system basically, alright. So human body is a system, school is a system, solar system you must have heard, again contains some planets, sun and all. So again it is a system. You can write all these examples. Fine. Okay. So system is also done. Now let us come to the main word, information systems. Okay. So what did I tell you? What can be information system? What can be a system which takes in data and gives information as output. This is how simple the definition is. See, let's understand what information system is. It says information system is a combination of people, hardware, software, communication devices, network and data resources. The only word which I want you to understand now is that processes data and information for a specific purpose. So if in very simple terms, if I tell you, you just write this thing, that information system is a system, just write it please, in very simple terms. Information system is a system which takes in data as input and produces information as output. Fine. Okay. Now, before I proceed further, you understand right now what information system is? Okay. Tell me something, that is it necessary that there has to be a computer in information systems? Is it necessary that information system, if I tell you about information system, if I talk about information system, does it mean that I am referring to some kind of computer? The answer is no. Back in the old days, let's go back to 1940s and 45s. People used to do business then also. They were managers, different categories, different levels of management then also. Okay. So now let's say if I am a manager and my boss tells me that please make a report of all the sales that took place this day and give it to me by the end of the day. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just open a register, take out a page, draw some lines, serial number, product name, quantity, rate, and I'll make an entire day's sales report manually, and I'll present that report to my boss. The boss is going to make some decisions on the basis of the report which I have just given to him. So the thing is, this system is also what? An information system, but it is manual information system. On the basis of data, I made some information. I basically jotted down all the information in one page and gave it to the manager, so that the manager, senior manager, can make or take decisions. Alright, so when I talk about information, it doesn't have to be computer based. So just try and understand that information systems can be manual also. That is why I told you, any system which takes in data and gives output is information system. Okay, fine. Alright, so this definition, or this particular definition, will come back to this definition in some time when we are going to understand computer based information systems. Okay, alright. So now let's come back to the name of the subject. Now you understand what information means, you understand what system means. Now you also understand probably what information systems mean. Alright, okay, but the name of the subject is enterprise information system. Alright, so I'll tell you what it means. You know, let's say during 1980s or 70s, when computers started to become popular, it was only after 1980s generally when the computers started being popular and people started to use it in the business. Okay, and even after that, if I talk about any business, so business has got many functions. Let's say we have a finance and accounting department. Okay, we can have a marketing department. What all departments can we have? Yes, production. Okay, production is there. Sales and distribution, I can say, and HR can be there. All right. So there are many functions in an organization. You all know this. Fine. What used to happen earlier is that for each of these functions, for example, for finance and accounting, we used to have a separate software in the organization. By you know what software means, right? At least I am assuming that this much basics you know. Okay, hardware, software you know. Though I'll have to teach you in details in this subject. So let's get back to the example. Let's assume that finance and accounting was using some kind of software. For finance and accounting, which is the most popular software which you know about? Tally. Okay. Tally, SAP. Okay. Sorry, Oracle. Okay. So let's say this organization is one organization, but finance and accounting department was using some software, some system. So I name it as information system 1. Okay. Marketing, to do their daily marketing activities, they were using some separate software. So they were using another information system. Similarly, to manage all the production in the organization, to manage the raw material, to manage the manufacturing work, there was another software or the system. And because it is a huge organization consisting of, let's say, more than 500 or 1000 employees, it is difficult to manage the employees manually with respect to like their salary, recruitment, training. So we have a software for human resource also, and this is information systems 4. Okay, so what is happening in this case is all the different departments are using different systems. All right, now the work was being done absolutely perfectly fine, but there was a problem in this particular scenario. The problem was, for example, let's say the marketing team. I am a member of the marketing team. Okay. And you are a prospective customer. I go to you, I tell you about the product, and somehow I convince you. Okay, and you give me an order for 1000 quantity of X, let's say. I go back to my office very happily that yes, I have got an order, a big order of 1000 quantities of X product. Okay, Now when I go back to the office, anticipating that my manager is going to be very happy with me, he starts scolding me. How did you get 1000, why did you get 1000 quantity of this 1000 pieces order? We don't have the raw material only. How do you think we are going to deliver the product in 1 week's time? The sales manager then speaks to the production manager. Production manager tells that we don't have the raw material. How do you think we are going to commit to what we have just basically committed to the client, that we are going to deliver the product in a week's time? It is not possible. So we talk to our supplier. The supplier says, I'll give you the raw material, but it is going to take, let's say, 15 days. Now what are we going to do? So try and understand what problem the organization was facing here was, they were using individual software, but the data was not integrated. They were keeping the separate data for their respective departments. Okay, so the marketing manager, the marketing guy did not have any knowledge whether they are running out of stock or they don't have the required raw material. Now imagine this current scenario. Now what happens is, rather than having multiple systems, multiple information systems in an organization, now what this scenario has turned up is like this. We have one common central database. You understand what database means? I'll teach you this also, but have you heard about the word database? Where all the data is kept. For the time being, you just understand in this way. This is some kind of box, some kind of cylinder where all the data is kept. Okay. Now, in the current present scenario, things have changed. Now what happens is, the entire organization keeps one central database, and all individual softwares with respect to finance and accounting, marketing, all are connected to this database. Basically now there is good amount of transparency in the entire organization. The marketing team will be able to see, before committing to you, the marketing team will be able to see how much quantity of finished goods they have it in stock, and then only they are going to take your order. So because now the database of the entire organization has come together, and individual softwares are no more, we will be using one common software for all the functions and the departments of the organization. So when we shift from this to this, the key word here which you have to remember is that everything now is integrated. Okay, and when an organization uses one particular software for all the departments or functions of the organization, we call that type of software as enterprise information system, because that information system will now cater to the entire organization. Are you able to get this? So our focus in this particular subject will be on enterprise information system, an information system which is being used by the entire organization. Okay, now can you name some softwares, can you name some systems which is actually used by the entire organization, all departments, all functions of the organization? Yes. SAP. Somebody is saying SAP. Okay, SAP is an example. Have you heard of the word ERP? Yes. What does ERP mean? Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, so ERP is a type of software. It is a huge software. Okay, it is a huge software which is actually being used by the entire organization for all the work, to manage HR, for production, to procure raw materials, for sales, for marketing, every aspect you think of logistics, it is actually covered by the ERP. We are going to study about ERP also. Any other software, and SAP is basically an example of ERP. SAP is an example. For like, if I say spreadsheets or worksheets, the spreadsheet is a kind of software, but the example can be Excel. If I tell you that word processor is a type of software, example can be MS Word. Are you able to understand? So ERP is a type of software and SAP is an example. Okay, so ERP is a kind of software which is EIS, basically, which caters to the entire organization. Any other software which you can name? Tally. Okay. Tally's name, in the name of the Tally itself, the word ERP is there. But in true sense, if I tell you, it does not cater to all the functions and departments of the organization. Tally is good for mid-size or a small size firm. You will not see any big companies using Tally. I will tell you the reasons in chapter number 2, finance and accounting system, we are going to understand. Okay, Acha, do you know how banks work these days? Do banks use any kind of software? Do you think they are using any kind of software? Yes. In which bank do you have your account, ma'am? Union Bank. Union Bank. Okay. Have you ever gone to the bank? Yeah. So do you know which particular software they are using to manage your accounts?
I know the name as such, but I know they are using some kind of software to save our information details.
Okay. So when you go to the bank and you want your account details, you tell the clerk or your staff there, you give your account number and he and she enters your account number and the system displays your account balance. Okay. Now suppose I have a account in Union Bank Guwahati, Assam. Now for some reasons I have to do some banking transaction here in Chennai. So can I go to the Kilpauk branch and ask for my balance? Can I do all banking transactions from the Kilpauk branch as well? Yes. Now how do you think that I had my account in Guwahati branch, Assam branch, how do you think they are able to tell me the balance here in Chennai? The information is available across all the branches. So can I say now the bank also has a centralized database? The bank also has a centralized database and all the branches can access that database and give you the required information. In fact, not only the branches, do you think the ATM machine is also connected to the central database? Do you think the internet banking aspect is also connected to the central database? That is why whenever you log into your bank account, it displays your account statement, you can do all kinds of transaction. Alright, so can I now say the software which banks use, it is also integrating all the branches of the bank and in fact all the functions of the bank. If you want to open an account, they do some kind of work in the computer. If you want to close the account, they'll do some entries in the computer. If you want to withdraw money, they'll do some entry in the computer. So basically all the functions of a bank are also, all the functions, clearing of check, depositing of money, it is handled by a system. So do you think that system is now an integrated system? Do you think all the features of a bank, all the services which banks gives you are now being handled by a system? Okay, that system is known as CBS, core banking system or core banking solution. So can I now say that core banking system or core banking solution is also an example of EIS because it is catering to the entire organization, entire bank, all the features, all the services provided by a bank. Do you understand this? Okay. Have you heard about the word? I am just trying to give you some examples. Okay. We are going to discuss each of these aspects at length in the coming chapters. Okay. Do you know something called CRM? Yes. Customer Relationship Management. What does it mean? If you write only the full form, you're not going to get marks. Okay. So what does this actually mean? Okay, do you get happy birthday messages from banks on your birthdays? You don't get it? You should change your bank then. Okay, so do you think the manager of your bank, he is so idle that every day he goes at 9 a.m. to the branch, checks in his machine that whose birthday is it today, and individually sends you the messages, okay, it is his birthday today, let's send him a message. Do you think this is how things work? The manager is not even going to know that it is your birthday today, but still you get a message from the bank that happy birthday, and somehow most of you must, I think you feel good that yes, okay, your bank remembers you and they have wished you. Alright, so now all this kind of activities, like let's say the bank introduces a new product, or maybe let's say you regularly buy some, you are a regular customer of Lifestyle or maybe Pantaloons, and they also keep you sending SMSs regarding sale, regarding you are an exclusive member. they'll send you a message. They rather send it to everyone that you are an exclusive member, and for you specifically we have a 2-day preview sale. Preview sale as in sale for normal members will start from after 2 days, but you being an exclusive member, we have put a sale for you like 2 days prior to the date of actual schedule. All right, and you feel privileged. Okay, they are sending me message. So all this kind of stuff, no, it is not possible to do it manually. So we use a system called customer relationship management. Okay, now this particular software, no, customers, the customer relationship management, like if you let's say I am there at the counter, this is a big showroom, and you make your first purchase with us. So do you think these days most of the showroom guys, they ask you for your name, the contact details, right? And then they unnecessarily tell you that, do you want to be our loyal customer, we'll give you a card. They give you a card, and they add some points, keep on adding points to it with every purchase you make. That is basically a customer relationship management strategy. They give you the points, and maybe because of that card you actually make repeated purchases. You make repeated purchases from that store, so that let's say once you reach 1000 points, you are going to redeem that 1000 points. All these are marketing strategies. All right, so these activities are dealt by the software which is known as customer relationship management. Now this particular software also spans across the organization. All right, who is going to collect the data of the customer? The production or marketing or sales team? Sales. You come to me, I'll issue you an invoice, I'll basically collect the data from you. Now do you think the sales team should basically share this data with the marketing team, so that they can make the right marketing activities? All right, okay. And on the basis of that, marketing and production, do you think they have to be connected? Because if the marketing team does, let's say, it spends huge amounts on advertisement and marketing a product, so they must be ready with that product also, no? They must be expecting sales also. So the marketing and production team also has to be connected. All right, so this is also a kind of what? EIS. Okay, but because ERP, as I told you, it is such a massive software, ERP generally has some aspects of CRM. ERP is such a huge software that it is going to have some aspects of CRM. But some organizations, they still prefer to have standalone systems as, so they will be having ERP also, they will be having CRM also. Okay, we'll discuss, we'll come to this. Alright, so now you all know what information system is. Now what is enterprise information system? What is the keyword which you always have to mention in enterprise information system? It is the word integration or integrated. Fine. So we have one more definition to understand here. Last point. Let's come to this definition, enterprise information system. Alright. So it says EIS is a type of information system that improves the functions of an enterprise business process by. So please try and understand, you have to mention this word when you write about EIS. Alright, EIS provides, now tell me, will there be multiple systems or single system? Single. So EIS provides what? Single system that is central to the organization. Why they have used the word central? Because now the entire database is what? Centralized. Each branch, each department will be able to access the data. So that is why single system, please mark these words, that is central to the organization, that ensures information can be shared across all functional levels. What are the functional levels? What can be the functional levels? The production, marketing, HR, alright, and management hierarchies. How many management levels are there in an organization? Four? Three, okay. See, these management terms and all, you know it better than me, because I'm not a commerce student, I'm a chartered accountant, but I hail from science background. Okay, so I don't know management and all. But all I know is that there are 3 levels of management: the top level, the middle level, and the lower level, or the supervisory level, we can call it. Okay, so basically here, what is the line? What is it written? That EIS is a single system which is central to the organization, and that ensures information can be shared across all the functions and departments and across all the levels of management. So basically the top level, the middle level, and the lower level will be using this system only for their information needs. Okay, so what is EIS? In this particular page, you don't have to study anything except for the definition of EIS, because data, information and systems definition was just to develop your concept. Okay, so what is EIS? It is a type of information system that improves the functions of an organization by the process of integration. All right, and keywords, other keywords which you have to remember is it is a single system that is central to the organization. Data is shared or information is shared across all the management function levels and the all the management levels and the functional levels. Is this clear? Now please write examples here. What examples did I tell you? Is ERP, enterprise resource planning, and EIS? Okay. CBS, which is exclusively used by banks, this is also a type of EIS. Okay. Okay. CRM can be an EIS. I told you that I'll come on this topic later on, but I told you that CRM aspect is inbuilt in ERP, but still some organizations prefer to have separate standalone CRM. Then we have something called SCM. Have you heard about this word? Supply chain management. So in order to manage the entire supply chain, we can have a software for this as well. But SCM part, again, as I told you, with respect to CRM also, SCM is also there in ERP. ERP is huge, covers all aspects. Okay, fine. Fine, the examples are clear. Okay, so SCM, can SCM and CRM be separate softwares also? Alright, now if organizations use them as separate softwares, they'll be able to achieve deeper functionality rather than having it integrated in ERP, single system. Okay, so it depends from organization to organization whether they only want to use ERP or they want to use ERP along with CRM and SCM. Okay, alright, so for the timing you just note down the examples. Okay, fine. So now are you clear with the word EIS, Enterprise Information System? So in this subject we are going to learn about the different kinds of enterprise information systems that can be there at your client's place. Okay, you are going to be chartered accountants, all right. So I'll tell you three major basically reasons why this particular subject is there in your syllabus. Okay, we are going to learn here about information systems, the new kind of information systems which are there in the market, the new technologies which the clients, which are basically clients might be using in their organization, in their industry. We are going to learn about that. Now, three reasons I'll tell you why we have to study this subject and why this subject is actually very important for you, keeping the future also in mind. Okay, first point is, see, when you go for audit, our bread and butter is audit. Okay, you study accounts, you study costing also, you just study those subjects so that you will be able to audit well. The ultimate objective of CA is to audit. That is going to be our bread and butter. You will not be required to do accounting and do the cost sheet, make a cost sheet and all those when you clear as a chartered accountant. Our main objective is auditor. Our main, the profession was born actually because we have the need for auditing. Okay, so this subject also has to do something with audit only. Okay, that is why I asked you initially, are you done with your audit? Okay, now we will be going for audits at different clients, at different places, to different kinds of clients will be catering. Let's see now, some of the clients, they use ERP. So at least you should understand what ERP means, the basics of ERP. Clients have, one of my client is very high tech. He uses artificial intelligence to, you understand artificial intelligence? Okay. He uses artificial intelligence in his daily processes and all. So at least you should know what artificial intelligence means. Alright. So first reason why this subject is there is to make us as chartered accountants updated about the latest technologies, about the latest systems that are available in the market. They don't want you to have a very detailed knowledge. They don't want you to be experts of AI. They don't want you to be an expert so that you develop an AI. They don't want you to be that, but at least you understand what artificial intelligence is. The client tells you my data is there in the cloud. You go to the cloud and audit. So at least you should know where the cloud is, where the data is. Alright, so that is why we have this new technologies also there in our syllabus. Okay. The first reason I told you that the CA Institute wants us to be updated chartered accountants. They want us to be well versed with the basic concepts of the latest technologies which are there in the market. This is the first reason. Okay. Second reason, when you your audit is which paper number? Sixth. Okay. Now the audit which is there in the paper number 6. What is the objective of that audit? Basics, so you must have done no audit. What is left in audit? So how much portion you have completed? 70, 75. Then it is covered. Okay. So what is the objective of audit? Yes? Yeah. Yes. This is only the objective. To give an opinion whether the financial statements give a true and fair view. This is what you must have learned. This is what you must have studied. Now, keeping that objective in mind, that whether the financial statements are giving true and fair view or not, you go to the organization to do the audit. They tell you that right from recording the transactions in the recording of the transactions to processing it, to posting it to ledgers, to making trial balance out of it, and ultimately to prepare financial statements, we use systems. Everything these days, right from the capturing of transaction to the preparation of financial statements, is done through the system. And now, if we go for audit, so do you do vouching, and do you understand what vouching means? Yes. Okay. So basically we'll be looking in for each and every transaction if there are or maybe you'll resort to test check basis if the transactions are huge, voluminous. Okay. Now for each of because the entire thing is maintained in the system, entire financial statements, financial transaction, it is maintained in the system. So you have to basically have knowledge about the system so that you can do the audit properly. Are you able to get this? Acha. In that, I'm talking about the financial statement audit. Did you learn something about the concept of internal controls in financial statement audit? And what is internal control? All these words, all this internal control I have to teach you in this subject also. Chapter 3, it is almost of 100 pages, all only about controls. So I just want to ask you if you know the basics of internal control. What is internal control? Only on employees.
Employees or the system basically. System, how the organization works.
Okay. You mean to say the management implements control on the entire organization so that it gives us an assurance that objectives of the organization will be achieved. Fine. To some extent you are correct. Okay. Now, as an auditor, please tell me, do you need to check the internal controls? Why? Why do you do that? Do you check the internal controls? Why do you do that? Yes. So basically, if the internal controls in the organization are good, if the internal, I'm talking in the terms of a layman, okay. If the internal controls in an organization are good, the nature, timing, and extent of your substantive procedures, is it going to increase or it is going to reduce? Reduce, because the internal controls are good and adequate in the organization. So basically you first check whether the internal controls are adequate or not, and accordingly you determine the nature, time and extent of your further audit procedures. This is what you do in audit. I hope everyone is understanding what I am saying. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Alright. Now because everything is maintained in systems, there has to be internal control in system also. There has to be controls in system that no unauthorized person can make a transaction. What if they record a sale and at the month's end they realize, oh, we have achieved good amount of sales this month, and will have to pay huge taxes also. Let's delete 10 transactions of sale. Now what are you going to do as an auditor? They can do this, no? Then what are you going to do as an auditor? So that is why the auditor has to check whether internal controls are adequate or not. But now, because everything is done in the systems, we'll be checking internal controls with respect to the system. Okay, so I can say, please try and understand. If I say that this is an internal control of the entire organization, try and understand. Management, if they are using computers, they'll be using some information system controls as well. So basically, the controls which are there on the systems, we call it as what? Information system control. Now, can I say that information system control is a part of overall internal control? And because in audit, you studied internal controls, you studied that we as an auditor, we have to check internal controls and then plan our audit. So now, because everything is done in computers, you will have to check the information system controls also, and accordingly, you have to determine the nature, time and extent of your further audit procedures. Are you able to get this? So basically this subject is there so that you can do the financial statements audit properly. And for this particular reason, no, you have one chapter in audit also, audit in automated environment. There is one chapter, audit in automated environment. So there you will be learning about these controls only, some basic aspects, but here we are going to learn about these aspects in detail. Okay, so what is the first reason which I told you why this subject is there? First reason, to be updated, to know at least what your clients are using. You just basic knowledge of the technology you need to have. Second is with respect to audit, financial statements audit, wherein you have to check the internal controls and then accordingly the NTs of the nature, time and extent of further procedure is decided. The objective of financial statement audit is ultimately to give an opinion that financial statements give a true and fair view or not. Okay, all right. Now third audit, third requirement, third reason why this subject is there is another kind of audit which we call as IS or IT audit. IS is information systems audit or IT audit is information technology audit. How many of you have heard about this word? IT audits. This is not income tax audit, okay? This is information technology audit. Yeah. What is IS audit? Okay, see, very simply I'll tell you what was IS, or this is also an audit, okay, this is also a type of audit, and we as chartered accountants, we can also do this IS and IT audit, okay. But what was the objective of audit in this particular area? What was the objective? Financial statements are giving true and fair view or not. But here in IS IT audit, we go for audits, but we check whether the controls on computers which management has implemented, whether they are adequate or not. So in IT audit, what do? We check that whatever IT controls which management has implemented in the organization, whether they are adequate or not, and we as auditors only give an opinion on the controls. We are not giving any opinion on financial statements here. We are only going to give opinion whether the information systems are, the controls on adequate, the information systems are adequate or not. Now, why do you think this is required? Why do you think this ISC or IT audit is required?
Companies maintain their financial statements in systems.
Okay.
So we have to obtain that. We have to check whether the systems are properly intact.
The systems are properly intact. Okay, this is one reason. See, what is going to happen, because you have studied this aspect, you will be more comfortable. You will be basically in future also, our main objective will be to express an opinion on the financial statements. Okay, but imagine, because now the financial statements are generated by the use of computers. If the computers are not good, if the controls on the computers are not good, imagine a client uses a computer where if I enter 2 plus 2, the answer comes 3. Do you think now the financial statements will be correct? And do you think now will it be worth auditing such financial statements? Not at all. So before you actually start with the financial statement audit, it is a prerequisite basically that the systems have to be checked first. In all big organizations who use their own softwares, the auditors first go and check whether the systems which they are deployed in the organization, whether it is functioning correctly or not. Because in an organization where this kind of system is there, which gives inaccurate results, the financial statements are going to be inaccurate as well. And auditing such inaccurate financial statements is going to be a waste of time for the financial statements auditor. So that is why, in order to conduct the financial statement audit, as a prerequisite, what audit has to be done? The information systems audit. Okay, and here please try and understand, it is not just the financial statement aspect. See, all organizations are now working on systems. They have the data in the system. Some of the laws require that, are they protecting the data? Are the information technology they are using good or not? So we as an IS or IT auditor, we go and check whether the system which organization is using is good or not. The controls which management has implemented on the systems is good or not. Okay, and this is the third reason. Okay, and this is totally a new reason for you. You have not studied anything about IS or IT audit in your paper number 6. Okay, and I have a specialization in this IS IT audit. I have a degree, CISA degree. I am basically a certified information systems auditor from USA. This is an international certificate. So I have experience basically in this domain. Okay, and because I am a CA also, and because I am into practice, and I am actually practicing, I work in an audit department only. So I have experience of financial statements audit as well. Okay, so I told you about 3 reasons now why this particular subject is there. First was to make all of you updated about the technology. Second, so that the financial statements audit can be conducted in properly. Third is separate, altogether a separate domain, IT or IS audit, wherein we will be only commenting on whether the controls by the organization on the information systems are adequate or not. Okay, fine. All right. So now please try and understand. In this subject, first we'll be learning about various kinds of information system. Okay, then I'll teach you what should be the controls on these systems. Okay, so we'll be dealing with controls part in detail, and then whether the controls are proper or not, what do? Audit. So 3 aspects we are going to study in this subject. Various information systems, will be learning various kinds of controls which can be there in the information systems, and once you have the knowledge of controls, then only you will be then only you will be able to say whether the controls are adequate or not. So that is basically a part of IS or IT audit. So this is the entire syllabus rather of our EIS paper. Fine. Okay, now I have taught you about information systems. Okay, how many of you use information systems? Everyone uses. Everyone has a mobile phone. That is also an information system. Okay, now because all of you have an information system, you have mobile phones, you have laptops. Do you think you have implemented some kind of control on it? Yes. Do you have controls on your information system? Yes. You are nodding yes. What kind of control you have implemented? Yes. Hare, you don't know. You have your phone. If you give me your phone, will I be able to access it? Why? You have a password. The password is a control. She doesn't want her data to be accessed by any third party. So that is why she has put password in her phone. Now password is what? A control. And what kind of other controls can we have? What other controls have you basically incorporated? Yes. Password is one. Are all of you have your phone? No. Is it the only control which you have in your phone? Yeah. Instead of password, we can have the iris or finger biometric feature. Okay. And any other control? This particular control you have implemented so that nobody else can access your phone and look in for your data, photos or whatever you have. But what are the other controls which you have actually in your phone, which you have put? Yes.
Storage controls.
Sorry.
Storage.
Storage.
To store it in the phone or on cloud.
Okay, but I'm talking about the control. For storage, you don't want your storage to be accessed by anyone, so you must be having a password. Okay, and yes, any other control? Security apps like app locker. Okay, and virus scan. So many of you must be having antivirus also. Antivirus, to have antivirus in your systems or laptops, this is also a kind of what? Control. Acha, how many of you have tempered glass on your phone? Why did you put a tempered glass on the phone? So if in case you drop your phone, so this is also a control. This is physical control. Basically you want to protect your phone physically, so this is also a control. What passwords and all were logical controls. Basically you are trying to protect what is inside the phone. Okay, and yeah, if you want to protect the phone physically, you have physical controls also, right? So here we are going to understand in this subject what can be the different controls in an information system. We are going to talk about the various controls like passwords, biometric. We are going to talk about some physical controls also, and chapter number 3, it is all about controls. And once you have good knowledge about control, we are going to understand how do we audit. Fine. So this is the reason why the subject is there. Now I think we should start with the subject. We should start actually learning what EIS means. Okay.